Madelyn Cline's story begins quietly, far from the flashing cameras, magazine covers, and global attention that later turned her into a symbol of modern resilience and Hollywood breakthrough, because before the world ever saw the confident woman standing on red carpets or delivering emotionally charged performances on screen, there was a girl who simply dreamed, who dared, who held onto something invisible yet powerful, an inner belief that the life she wanted existed somewhere beyond the boundaries of her hometown and beyond the fears that tried to convince her she wasn't enough. And it is this contrast, this journey from uncertainty to unstoppable ambition, that makes her story so electrifying and inspiring for millions around the world today, because Madelyn wasn't handed success, she crafted it piece by piece, heartbreak by heartbreak, sacrifice by sacrifice, until those sacrifices became stepping stones and those steps turned into the long road that carried her into the global spotlight. And long before the world knew her name, she was simply a determined young girl from South Carolina, flipping through magazines, watching movies, imagining worlds bigger than the life around her, understanding deep inside that dreams are not about where you start but how fiercely you chase them. And this small-town beginning shaped her, strengthened her, carved her spirit, because she grew up knowing the quiet ache of wanting something bigger, something extraordinary, something that felt impossible yet irresistible, and that feeling guided her through the tough years that most people never saw, the years of auditions that went nowhere, the roles that slipped away, the voices that doubted her ability, the moments she questioned herself but kept going anyway, because that's what makes someone powerful, not the applause they eventually receive but the storms they learn to walk through without losing themselves. And Madelyn walked through more storms than anyone realizes, moving to Los Angeles at a young age with nothing but ambition and a heart stubborn enough to refuse failure, living alone, struggling financially, facing rejection after rejection, hearing casting directors tell her no again and again, but every no became fuel, every closed door became a lesson, every disappointment became a reason to come back stronger, because she understood something important: success in Hollywood is not about luck. It's about endurance, about showing up when the world expects you to quit, about believing in yourself long before anyone else believes in you, and that belief kept her steady, kept her focused, kept her climbing step by step through a world that was bigger, louder, and far more intimidating than the quiet streets she grew up on. Yet she refused to shrink, she expanded, she grew, she hardened, she softened where it mattered and strengthened where it didn't, and slowly, the universe began to shift toward her, sending her small roles, small opportunities, tiny openings that most people overlook: commercials, background roles, minor parts that didn't pay much but paid in experience, in growth, in the kind of lessons that turn an aspiring actress into a future star. Because she wasn't just looking for fame, she was building a foundation for longevity, depth, and artistic truth. And then came the opportunity that changed everything: Outer Banks, the series that took her from a struggling dreamer to a global phenomenon almost overnight. But behind that overnight success were years of invisible struggle, nights spent doubting herself, auditions that broke her heart, moments when she thought of giving up but didn't. And Outer Banks didn't just introduce her to the world, it validated her journey, her courage, her persistence, and suddenly millions of people began to see in her something magnetic, something raw, something real, because Madelyn didn't act the role of Sarah Cameron, she lived it. She poured her own history, emotions, and fire into the character, transforming a TV role into a cultural moment, and the world responded instantly, drawn to her authenticity, her beauty, her emotional depth, her unique ability to make every scene feel alive. And as fame poured in, followers, interviews, attention, red carpets, she didn't lose herself the way many young stars do. Instead, she grew even more grounded, more self-aware, more focused on the things that truly mattered, proving that real success is not measured by popularity but by resilience, integrity, and the courage to stay true to who you are even when everyone is watching. And as her career expanded beyond Outer Banks into movies, brand deals, modeling, and global recognition, Madelyn continued to show the world not just what she could do but who she truly was: a woman who overcame expectations, overcame doubts, overcame the pressure of fame and the criticism that comes with it, choosing every day to rise above noise, negativity, and fear, choosing instead to embrace growth, transformation, and the pursuit of greatness, inspiring millions who watch her and silently whisper to themselves that maybe, just maybe, they can rise too, Because her story is not just a Hollywood success tale, it is a reminder that the path to your dreams will challenge you, break you, stretch you, but if you refuse to give up, if you keep walking no matter how heavy the journey becomes, the life you once imagined will eventually become the life you live. And Madelyn Cline embodies this truth with every step she takes, every project she accepts, every challenge she overcomes, turning her journey into a message for every young dreamer who feels stuck, unseen, or underestimated. That you don't have to be born into opportunity to create it. You don't need permission to chase something extraordinary. And you never know how close you are to your breakthrough until you push past one more obstacle. Take one more step, and decide you are stronger than your doubts, louder than your fears, and capable of becoming someone you once only dreamed about, someone unstoppable, someone unforgettable. Madelyn Cline's rise didn't slow after Outer Banks. In fact, that moment became the ignition point for an even deeper transformation. Because once the spotlight hit her, once millions of eyes turned toward her, once people began to expect greatness from her, something powerful awakened within her, a realization that her journey wasn't about proving herself to Hollywood anymore. It was about proving to herself that she could keep evolving, keep expanding, keep becoming more than what she was yesterday. And the world watched as she stepped into that new chapter with confidence, vulnerability, and a fierce dedication that separated her from countless others trying to climb the same ladder. Because Madelyn didn't just rely on her beauty or popularity, she relied on discipline, curiosity, craft, and a mind determined to learn, grow, and push her own boundaries. And as her fame grew, so did the challenges: public pressure, media scrutiny, expectations from fans, whispers from critics who wondered whether she could sustain her momentum. But each challenge only sharpened her, strengthened her, taught her how to stand tall even when the ground beneath her shook. And she learned something vital: fame tests you more than failure does. Because when the world thinks you have everything, you still have to fight to keep your identity, your mental peace, your purpose. And Madelyn navigated this with remarkable grace, transforming every setback into strength, every rumor into silence, every criticism into fuel. And with each passing year, she began choosing roles not just for visibility but for depth, for emotional truth, for opportunities to show the industry that she wasn't just a breakout star, she was an artist, a storyteller, a woman capable of commanding both the screen and the hearts of millions. And Hollywood realized something quickly. Madelyn Cline wasn't a temporary trend, she was a long-term force. Someone whose charisma and emotional intelligence made every performance magnetic and memorable. And while her professional life kept reaching new heights, her personal journey was equally powerful. Because she embraced growth not just in her career but in her heart, in her mindset, in her daily habits, becoming someone more connected, more self-aware, more intentional. Someone who understood the importance of protecting her energy in a world where everyone wants a piece of you. And she learned how to say no, how to walk away from negativity, how to surround herself with people who supported her evolution rather than those who only wanted her spotlight. And all of this, her boundaries, her choices, her discipline, became the foundation for the woman she is today. A woman who continues to rise with every project she touches, every appearance she makes, every conversation she shares. And her fans feel connected not just to her success but to her authenticity, because she never pretends to be perfect. She shares her struggles, her self-doubt, her vulnerable moments, making people realize that even those who seem to have it all are human, fragile in some ways, powerful in others. And this relatability turned her fame into something deeper, something meaningful, something that inspires thousands of young people who look at her and see not just a celebrity, but proof that perseverance, patience, and belief can reshape your entire destiny. And as opportunities grew, film roles, fashion campaigns, magazine covers, Madelyn embraced each one with gratitude and determination, understanding the responsibility that comes with influence, the responsibility to uplift, to inspire, to represent strength, resilience, and hope. And she carried that responsibility quietly but firmly, becoming a role model not because she tried to be but because she naturally embodied the qualities that young people search for: courage, ambition, and emotional honesty. And while most stars her age crumble under pressure, Madelyn evolved like someone far older in wisdom, choosing growth over ego, inner peace over chaos, purpose over popularity. And these choices became the stepping stones of her long-term legacy, a legacy that continues to unfold as she expands beyond traditional acting into producing, creative storytelling, and using her platform to shine light on causes that matter, because she understands that true success is not measured in followers or fame, but in the positive impact you leave on the world, in the lives you touch without even realizing it, in the messages that reach people at exactly the moment they need to hear them. And this is what makes Madelyn Cline's journey so inspiring, not just the rise, not just the beauty, not just the fame, but the heart behind it all, the consistency, the inner work, the fearless pursuit of becoming the best version of herself in a world that constantly tries to pull people away from their identity. And despite everything she has achieved, she continues to dream, continues to push boundaries, continues to step into bigger, bolder spaces, showing the world that success isn't a destination. It's an ongoing evolution, a commitment to never staying the same. I promise to yourself that you will keep rising even when you don't feel ready. And Madelyn's story captures that truth perfectly because she didn't reach this level by accident. She reached it by resilience, by vision, by daring to believe in a future only she could see at first, proving that no matter where you come from, no matter how small your beginnings may feel, you can rewrite your destiny completely if you refuse to give up, if you keep nurturing your passion even when it feels impossible. And her entire rise stands as a reminder to everyone that dreams don't happen overnight, but they do happen when you keep showing up, keep fighting, and keep trusting that the life meant for you will eventually meet you halfway if you refuse to quit the journey.